What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I decided to wait. I was going to do a new video today at 1 o'clock, but the bipartisan group was going to do their press conference and release this $748 billion proposal and the other proposal for $160 billion for state and local governments. Now, we have the first page. It's more of a summary, but what is included. So I want to just go over that with you guys. But first, I just want to say, before we get into this, because I know a lot of people are going to ask, are stimulus checks included? And here's the thing. They are not included. And we knew they were not going to be included, but that wasn't the big news. That wasn't the big thing. What I said earlier today was that with the Problem Solvers Caucus and this bipartisan group bringing the bill in at from $908 billion all the way down to $748 billion, it actually it only is roughly $188 billion in new money. The rest of the money is coming from the CARES Act, which is just being rolled over. So right now, coming from 908 down to $748 billion means we are opening the door for stimulus checks. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to go through this and explain what's there, what is missing. Stimulus checks really are missing, okay? But right now, many senators, many lawmakers, Bernie Sanders, Josh Hawley are the most vocal, and especially Bernie Sanders. He's telling Democrats to reject this bill. Do not pass it. Reject it and force Mitch McConnell and President Trump and Nancy Pelosi to accept a package that includes stimulus checks. That's what he's saying. He's saying he will not support it. And he's saying, Nancy Pelosi, how are you a good negotiator? Because just in March, okay, or in May, you wanted to pass a $3.4 trillion stimulus package. Cool, great. You said that is what was needed. And now you come in and you're only accepting $188 billion in new money? How is that providing any type of relief to the American people? It's not. So let's go over this, because this is going to give you some, a little bit of an idea as to where we currently stand, what could be coming. But again, we don't know. We haven't heard from Nancy Pelosi. We haven't heard from Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell has been silent on this for a little while. So hopefully sometime after this, he will actually come out and give us an idea of where he stands on all of this. So let's look and see what is in the $748 billion package. So here we go. Here's what's in it. Okay. This is just a one-page summary that the bipartisan group gave us. It's called the Bipartisan Emergency COVID Relief Act of 2020. And so we got the emergency assistance for American families, workers, and small businesses. Okay. For $748 billion. First off, there will be an extension of the unemployment benefits. It will go for 16 weeks. It will start the first week of January and go to the last week. We got January, February, March, and April. By May 1st, it will actually expire. It actually expires, I think, 1 week before that. It will be for $300 per week. Now, there's $300 billion for Small Business Administration. That is the second round of PPP funding. Just to give you an idea, just last week, the $908 billion stimulus package, that included $288 billion in funding for PPP. So right now, they actually brought it up by $12 billion. And they're going to include EIDL loans, okay, this grant. And I want to bring this up because I told you guys months ago that an EIDL grant, you can get free money. It's a $1,000 loan. And this is something that a lot of people took up, is that even if you have a side hustle, you sell on eBay, you're an Uber driver, you run a daycare business on the side, something that you make taxable income, you can get an EIDL grant, which in the first instance, I don't know about this one, but in the first one in the CARES Act, you could have got this EIDL grant and got a free $1,000 that you did not have to pay back. So that is a good thing right there. That is included. There's also loan forgiveness for businesses under $150,000. So, they're going to bail out businesses as well. And we knew that going in. There's $13 billion for emergency food assistance. Just to give you an idea, so it says increased SNAP assistance and funding for food banks and food pantries. Right now, as of last week, that was for $26 billion. Now it's at $13 billion. However, they also split that in the actual bill based off the reports that we're getting. Is that $13 billion is going to go to food assistance, and another $13 billion is going to go to farmers and stuff like that. So it was actually nutrition assistance, which they split up nutrition assistance into food assistance and then money for farmers. So we also have $13 billion to provide funding for to address COVID-related impacts on farmers. Oh, there it is right there. That's the other $13 billion. So yeah, those two up, that is the $26 billion, and that is the food assistance that I was explaining earlier last week. $25 billion for rental assistance and an extension on the eviction moratorium through January 31st. After that, what they're trying to do is just push it off onto the next administration, and either President Trump or Joe Biden, whoever's in office at that point, would be the one to say, all right, I'm going to extend the eviction moratorium. I'm going to do a executive order and just extend it. So that's kind of where we're at there. There's the extension of student loan forbearance through April 1st. So again, this is through April 1st. So we got January, February, March, and then April 1st, it actually cuts. So that right there isn't actually a 4-month plan or extension like they were wanting. It's only 3 months. We have $35 billion for healthcare. That was at $35 billion before as well. So it's still the same. $16 billion for testing, tracing, vaccine development, and distribution. That's a big one. That was at $16 billion before. And as far as distribution, we are only at roughly like $3 billion. It's less than $3 billion for distribution for the vaccine. States are saying they need billions more in order to get this properly distributed. $12 billion right here. So this is in the CDFI and MDI target emergency investments. So a lot of people don't really care about that. $5 billion for substance abuse prevention and mental health. There was nothing in that before. So that is a new one because that wasn't in the last one, I don't believe. $82 billion for education. That's the same amount. Hasn't changed there. It includes targeted aid for private and parochial schools. $10 billion to support childcare. That was in there before. It was $10 billion as well. $10 billion for broadband. That was in there as well. This is just breaking it down, how it's going to be distributed. $45 billion in emergency funding for transportation, airlines, stuff like that. It was $45 billion before. Eliminate the repayment of the $10 billion. So it's not $10 billion in new money for the United States Postal Service. It's just eliminating that repayment. So it's pretty much giving them free money from the CARES Act. They're going to repurpose all Treasury Cares funding. Okay, so all that funding that was there before is just going to be reused. And what it's pretty much stating with that is that, okay, we're not going to let any of that money just go to waste. We're going to reuse it on this package, which is exactly what Bernie Sanders was saying is, okay, so how is this a better bill when really there's just $188 billion in new money? How's that better? So here's what I can tell you right now. Okay, there's a lot of reports coming in as to what's currently happening. Are we going to see stimulus checks? Are we not? A lot of people are not happy about this package. And as far as state and local government funding, it's $160 billion right now. It's $160 billion for state and local government funding. We'll just see if something else pops up, any new information. But right now, that $160 billion, what is being reported is that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer might be okay with passing a bill that does not include state and local government funding, as long as state and local government funding and liability protections are tied together. They're tied at the hip. Neither one can pass if the other one doesn't. That is what's currently being reported. Some are saying that, and this is a report from Politico, that Congress is getting very close to agreeing to the deal for $1.4 trillion for their government funding bill. So right now, what we know is that this stimulus package is going to ride on top of the government funding bill. So in order to get the stimulus package passed, the government funding bill has to be prioritized and passed first. Of course, Congress says this. that they prioritize their well-being and their paycheck over the American people. We knew that. So this is nothing new. This isn't going to change. So we will see what happens as we move into a little bit forward into this week. But what I can tell you right now is that a lot of people are worried that there's not enough in this bill for them. And honestly, there isn't. There's a lot of stuff that is missing. There's going to be a lot of people that miss out on these funds. For example, just the rental assistance. What they're saying right now is that in order to qualify for rental assistance, I believe you have to earn like 50% of the area median income or lower, and then you'd be in the first tier of qualified applicants. So if you make, let's say, just a regular income, you are 100% of the median income, right? If that's what you make in your area, then chances are you would never qualify for rental assistance. The funding would run out before you qualify. So all of you guys that have been waiting for this package for rental assistance, it might not come for you. Now, I was very optimistic that this is going to pass. I'm still optimistic it's going to pass. There's a lot of stuff in it that's needed. It's going to help out millions and millions of Americans. It's going to help out people that don't have a job. $300 per week for 16 weeks, $4,800. At the end of that, that's going to help. It's going to help out a lot of people. But I was a little more optimistic we'd see something better. Now, we had the kind of breakdown, the summary from the $908 billion proposal. We knew kind of what was in that. We knew if we split them apart, took $160 billion out for state and local governments, it kind of gave us, a picture of where we're at. And I was just hoping it's going to be something different. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping more details come out about this. I think Mitch McConnell right now, he probably will go for this just to say he provided something to the American people, because everyone right now is saying it's all Mitch McConnell. But honestly, Mitch McConnell was the reason for such a delay. Nancy Pelosi was the reason why we didn't get a $1.9 trillion package, because she denied it. Right now, President Trump wants larger stimulus checks. He's saying he wants to see bigger, better stimulus. We need to go big. Well, this is not big. This is not big at all. Nancy Pelosi, if you remember, back in, May, she said the next stimulus package would be bigger, better, safer, and retroactive. Retroactive. There's nothing retroactive about this bill. Nothing. Absolutely nothing in this bill is retroactive. What's retroactive here? Unemployment benefits? Nope, nothing retroactive there. It is supposed to start on the first week of January. Well, people have been hurting for months. For months. And there's nothing here for retroactive pay there. For emergency food assistance, they're not going to give retroactive food assistance. That's not something they're going to do. Retroactive rental assistance, they could do some type of retroactive rental assistance, but at this rate, at $25 billion, honestly, that retroactive pay, and they said they will do, based on the reports that we're getting, they're saying they will do upcoming rents. Upcoming rents. So rents that aren't even due yet, they will pay those, which is great. I think that's needed, but at the same time, the people that are going to be hurting in January are not going to be all the same people that have been hurting for the past 7 or 8 months. So right now, the way that they've written this bill, I get it, granted, it's going to help out a lot of people. I think it should pass. But I also think this cannot be the last bill. This cannot be the last stimulus package. It just can't. If it is, millions and millions of Americans are going to struggle, and struggle mightily. They're going to have a very tough time. So if you are a business owner, you will get bailed out. You will get, and I don't want to really say bailed out, you will get helped out. If you're an airline, you will get bailed out. Airlines are going to get bailed out. There's $45 billion in emergency funding for transportation sector. That's assistance for airlines, airports, buses, Amtrak, and public transit needs a lot of help. A lot of people have been affected because they do not want to get on a bus with a bunch of strangers, or some people do not want to get on an airplane with a bunch of strangers. I get it. I understand. But right now, there's a lot of people that, because of the airlines, because of other businesses, and some of these are not poorly run businesses or poorly run airlines, they just have been impacted negatively due to COVID. And I get it. But again, right now, I just wish this bill was better. I think it could be a lot better. I'm not saying if I was a lawmaker, I would vote against this. I think I would vote for it only because there's enough here to provide help for the American people. But honestly, it's lacking in a lot of ways. So let me know your thoughts down below, what you think on this. I understand stimulus checks should be included. Based on all the reports that I've been seeing, stimulus checks will most likely be negotiated at some point, whether it's now and trying to bring up this bipartisan framework from $748 billion back up to the $900 billion mark. It could happen. If it does, it would only be a $600 stimulus check per person. And that would be excluding adult dependents. And based on the reports I'm reading, people that do owe back child support, again, would not see a stimulus check. Their check would go to pay for that back child support, which I understand. There's, the children need money too, but at the same time, so do the people, and it's not always their fault. Sometimes they're not working. They don't have the ability to pay child support or pay the amount. I don't want to, give them a reason or try to make excuses, but there's a lot of people out there that have a reasonable excuse why they couldn't pay child support, or there's issues, or there's something going on. And so you are completely telling all those people, you don't get a check. You're going to struggle. You can't eat. You can't pay for your apartment. You're going to be homeless. But yet you still got to pay for child support. So even though you're homeless, try to pay for child support. I don't know. So that's just where I'm just reading this bill. I got a lot of thoughts. I'll try to collect them a little bit better for the next video. I just wanted to bring this to you, kind of, run through this framework or this summary together so that we kind of understand where they're going. But as we get more reports, hopefully Nancy Pelosi speaks. Hopefully Mitch McConnell will speak. Joe Biden will talk. He has a press conference later on today. I'll do a video following that. Just kind of give you a rundown of what he says, what's going on, and what we can expect moving forward. So just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Hopefully you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys on the next one.